The biggest holdback is always the fear of failure. The last thing I'd want to see is that people didn't try to start a business. Hi and welcome to Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. This podcast is specifically for business owners or wannabe business owners. Say you've got a side hustle, or you've got a passion for something and you think it'd be absolutely amazing, or you see people that do amazing things with their passions and what they enjoy doing. Well, you can do that. So please subscribe, and we hope you enjoy listening to this episode. Welcome to Breakout Business Rainbows and Unicorns, where there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. So I thought I'd hop on and just do a shorter episode today, just talking about why the strapline is there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. So realise that we've never actually discussed that. I've just put it out there and left it there. So hopefully it kind of speaks for itself and explains that you just have to try everything. Now, you've heard it all, you've probably seen the memes, or it's a bit cliche, but failure or fail is actually, we always say, the first attempt in learning. Now, there's a lot of, and I share them quite a lot, posts out there that it's like, your first podcast won't be amazing. If you do plumbing, your first bathroom might not be amazing. You're learning constantly, no matter what you do. If you invent a product, the first draft of the product probably won't be amazing, because you can always improve on everything. So we always say, rather than mistakes or failures, it's actually lessons. So it's lessons about that product, about that service. You're learning what works and what doesn't. The biggest holdback is always the fear of failure. So if you go back to school and what you learn at school and what kids are still learning at school is they're taught spellings. So my daughter gets 10 spellings every Friday to be tested on the next Friday. If she fails, and this is controversially, what is failure? Is it 0 out of 10 or 10 out of 10? It's practicing those spellings, and I get there's a lesson there, but is it right that she's practicing those spellings again and again because she's got a fear of not getting 10 out of 10? And we are scared. There's a lot of stuff we don't do because we're scared of failing at it. So it's like maths, for example. My husband Ben is with hands up. He's not great at maths. He struggles with it. He says if number dyslexia was a thing back in a long time ago, he might have had that. But he then won't give it a go. He won't try maths. My daughter jokes about and tries to test him on her maths and her times tables, but he won't even entertain it because he says, I'm not going to get it right. So he's to the point, he won't even give it a go. He won't even try. He's got no interest. Maths was years ago. Don't need it. If he needs it for work, he's got a calculator on his phone, as we all have, just to get by. And I could probably say this now because we're a few years down the line. He actually did his maths exam with a pen that you twisted and it gave you all the times tables answers. So that's how he got through his maths. But it meant he didn't fail. So depending how you look at that, the last thing I'd want to see is that people didn't try to start a business. I mean, maths, English, spellings, it's very black and white, obviously, whereas business isn't. So if you're starting your own business, what will make you fail? Well, actually, if it's the marketing side of things, we'll outsource it. If it's the pricing side of things, get advice on it. There's so much information out there to make sure you don't fail, to help you do what you want to do and learn to get better. So whatever the service is, and you could give this podcast as an example, I'm sure as you now listen back to my first episode to my episodes now, how different they are, how they've moved on, how my conversation's changed, how my confidence has changed, because I've done it again and again and again. So it's like anything, if you practice, if you keep going back to it, you will get used to it and you'd naturally get better at it. But the main thing is, I gave it a go. If I turned around and didn't even bring the podcast out and had the idea, to me that's failure. I've not tried, I've not given it a go, and I'll regret it. I will regret not doing that thing. It's a bit like explaining breakout to someone. They're like, oh, you do a lot of different things. There's things we've done, when we first opened, if anyone remembers, that we don't do anymore because they didn't work. We learned that we either didn't do them very well, the demographic wasn't there, for a variety of reasons, but we chose as a business to stop doing them. we didn't fail at them because we tried to do them. We saw whether it worked and we made a conscious decision that it didn't work for us, so we didn't carry on. But I haven't got that regret. I don't have the regret that I should have done it, or we could have done it, or we didn't try and do it. So I think the lesson in all of this is what I'm trying to tell you is give it a try. If you've got that drive, that passion, that fire in your belly, or someone's telling you, or friends and family are repeatedly telling you to go and do it. Maybe if you're thinking about when X Factor and they're all telling you a great singer, maybe check with the sing coach, but that's a whole nother thing. But it's just that if someone's saying, oh my God, you make amazing cushions, you should make money out of this. If you're being told something again and again and again, it might be true. Just so give it a go. There are enough people around this area or online that will more than happily help you make a business of what you want to do. So promise me, if anything, after this episode, and please, if this episode's changed your mindset of anything or made you do anything, drop us a message. Send us a link to your social media page so we can share it onto our stories and say, this person tried, this person's doing it. They're not scared of failure anymore. So yeah, send us the information and we will promote that for you. But yeah, thanks for listening to my quick podcast, just explaining why there's no such thing as failure if you don't try. And let us know if you have tried, or tag someone who you know you're repeatedly telling they should do this. Say this is your sign, you need to do this. See you next week. Thanks for listening to this episode. We really hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please share with a friend who you think needs a bit of help with starting a business or even their small business, which they've already got going. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, which always helps a small business or small podcast like us. And check the show notes. We all have everything in there relating to the episode, which you might need, might want to read, and links to anyone we've interviewed and certain subjects we've spoken about. And thanks for listening.